Years ago, a woman was accused, not because they had proof, but because fear needed a victim. They dragged her into the bush and left her there to disappear. Now, every night, she cries. And tonight, Amina didn't just hear it, she started walking toward it. Before we go deeper into this story, if you enjoy powerful stories like this, take a second to subscribe, like, and share. It helps the story reach more people who love mystery, culture, and real emotions. Now, let's continue. At night, this village does something strange. Before the moon fully rises, every door shuts. No laughter, no footsteps, no voices outside. Like everyone is hiding from something that only comes out in the dark. It was a cry, soft, painful, dragging through the night, like someone begging, but too tired to scream. Amina's chest tightened, because deep down she knew that sound wasn't normal. That was the night Amina first heard it. Not loud, not clear, just a broken sound, slipping through the walls. She held her breath, listened again, and realized that it wasn't the wind. She turned toward the door, but didn't move. The sound came again, closer this time. Her body froze, but her mind kept asking one question. Who cries like that? Every night? Don't listen to it. Her grandmother's voice cut through the silence. Sharp, firm, not fear, but warning. Some sounds are not meant for the living, and just like that room felt colder. Amina lay back down, but sleep never came. The cry stayed in her ears. Her thoughts refused to rest, and something inside her kept whispering, this is not a story. This is real. The next night, it came back. Same cry, same pain. But this time I didn't feel far anymore. It felt like it knew she was listening. Amina sat up slowly, eyes fixed on the door. The sound was clearer now, closer, sharper, almost like it was waiting for someone to come. Grandmother, what is that? Silence. No reply, just a look, heavy, uneasy, the kind of look that says you're not supposed to know. By morning, Amina asked around. Neighbors avoided her. Women turned away. Even the elders said nothing. It wasn't confusion. It was deliberate. The whole village knew and chose silence. Life went on like nothing was wrong. People laughed, worked, talked. But behind every smile there was tension. Like everyone was protecting a secret, too dangerous to speak. That night, Amina stopped asking questions. If no one would speak, then she would listen, not from the people, but from the sound itself. And this time she would follow it. That night, she didn't wait again. No questions, no permission. Amina stepped outside, slowly. The door creaked behind her, and for the first time she chose the sound over safety. The village was already asleep. No footsteps, no voices, only that cry, pulling her forward. Each step felt heavier than the last, but turning back was no longer an option. She stopped at the edge. This was where people never crossed. Not at night, not for anything. But the sound came from inside, and no, it was calling her. The moment she stepped in, Amina stopped. Something changed. The air felt wrong, too still, too heavy. Then she felt it, not saw, but felt. She was no longer alone. At first, she saw nothing, just shadows moving with the wind. Thin a shape formed, low, still, not an animal, not something she could name. And then, she saw her, an old woman, sitting alone in the darkness, crying like no one had listened for years. Amina froze, because this was real. The woman slowly lifted her head. Their eyes met, and in that moment, Amina felt something she didn't expect. Not danger, not anger, but a pain so deep it felt older than the night itself. Her body told her to run. Everything inside her screamed it. But she didn't move, because now, she needed answers. Who was this woman, and why was the whole village pretending she didn't exist? Then Amina noticed it. The ground wasn't empty. Shadows, remains, shapes that didn't belong to the living, like the past was still here watching, waiting. This was not just a woman. This place held something older, not noise nor imagination, but a truth that refused to die. A truth the village buried, but never escaped. Amina didn't leave. She wants to know what happened years back. So she asked the old woman even when her body begged her to run. She stayed, sitting in that same darkness, listening, because some fierce and scene must be understood. Time stopped meaning anything. No words, no movement, just the sound of breathing and distance. The kind of silence that carries memory. The kind that feels like something is waiting to be said. Then the woman spoke, slowly, like each word had been locked away for years. They brought me here. Her voice cracked, and they never came back. Amina didn't speak immediately, but something inside her shifted. This wasn't just a woman's pain. This was something the village created. Something they all chose to forget, and no one understood why no one would speak. Time passed. Without her noticing, the darkness slowly faded. Morning light touched the trees, but the weight in the air didn't lift, because what she heard that night was not meant to end with darkness. Back in the village, her grandmother moved from hut to hut, calling her name again and again, but no one had seen her, and with every step the fear grew louder than the silence. They accused me, the woman said quietly. No proof, only fear. They needed someone to blame. Her voice trembled. They chose me and left me here, and just like faith, truth stood fully exposed. Amina stood slowly, her body weak, but her mind clear. She turned away from the woman, not to escape but to carry the truth back, because silence was no longer an option. From a distance, her grandmother spotted her. Relief rushed in first, then anger, then fear. She ran toward Amina, holding her like she almost lost her forever. Amina didn't hold anything back. Every word came out, heavy, careful, clear. She spoke of the woman, the bush, the truth, and with each sentence the air in the village changed. The message spread quickly, and the elders were called. They came slowly, quiet, faces that carried years of silence, because deep down they already knew what was coming. They walked together, not as a crowd but as those responsible. Each step felt heavier than the last, because this was not just a journey, it was a return to what they abandoned. And then, they saw her, exactly where Amina left her, still, waiting, not as a stranger but as someone they once knew, and no one could pretend anymore. Silence fell immediately, not out of fear but recognition. Eyes dropped, breathing changed, because the past they buried was now standing in front of them. It is true, one elder finally spoke, his voice low, heavy. We did this. We chose fear instead of truth, and for the first time they admitted it. They stepped forward slowly, carefully, not as leaders but as people who had wronged. Forgive us, they said, not out of pride but out of brokenness. The woman looked at them, long and deep, then slow-like crying faded, not forced, not sudden, but like a pain, finally released. That night the village was quiet again, but this time it felt different. No fear, no tension, just peace, the kind they hadn't felt in years. Morning came with life, voices returned, laughter followed. People gathered not out of habit, but out of relief, because something heavy was finally gone. And in the middle of it all stood Amina, quiet, watching. She didn't speak. She didn't need to, because everyone knew one person faced the truth and changed everything. They thought silence would protect them, but silence only protects lies, and lies always demand a voice. That is why the cry never stopped until someone chose to hear it. And when it finally mattered, Amina chose to listen.